Hi everyone, Ira Miller with ERA Grizzard Real Estate, the Village's expert, coming to you today from ERA Grizzard's video studio. This is the first time we've filmed in this studio, and I have a special guest with me, Gus Grizzard.
Special guest. I like it. I like it. Appreciate that.
So he is the broker owner, and so every time you've seen one of my videos and I say ERA Grizzard, this is the Grizzard we're talking about. So today, we're going to do a question and answer period, and with Gus's help, he'll kind of give the broker's perspective on some things. We've asked you, our subscribers, to give us some questions of what you would like to hear, and so that's what we're going to do today. And then we're going to try to keep this going. So if any of you that are watching this today have any future questions that you feel like we can answer for you, feel free to go ahead and contact us at any time. We'll go ahead, we'll list these questions, we'll do another one of these question and answer periods. And so we'll just keep this going for you, the subscribers.
I gotta tell you, Ira, this is kind of a big deal for me because I've been absolutely amazed with the following that you've created with your YouTube channel. And I think it's absolutely attributable to kind of your real honest, unbiased opinion and thoughts, and drawing from all of your experience working in and around the villages. So me participating today is pretty exciting. And I gotta tell you, we've used the studio a lot, but this is the first time we've really had any kind of real in-depth conversation about the villages, what the villages is, what are the amenities, what is it like to buy in the villages, not just even really in the villages, but really that whole 55 plus community in and around the villages. So I'm real excited about being here today and talking about this stuff.
Good.
So tell me, how and why did you even start your YouTube channel? Just curious.
Well, it's kind of just a fluke, really. I mean, I just thought that there was a lot of missing information out there that a lot of people probably needed to know, and so I just intended of just doing one video.
Right.
And it was a video of the villages, and I started from Highway 42, which was the northernmost point of the villages, and then I just did different points that, as a lot of you have probably seen, I think I have over 30,000 hits on that
great.
One YouTube video.
Right.
And that was a couple of years ago, and then I thought, well, I thought of something else that I might be able to bring to people, and then people started subscribing to the channel and showing an interest. So I thought, why not just keep it going?
No, I tell you, that's amazing. And there's a lot of people out there that would love to build something like you have. And hats off to you and your commitment to your customers and really maintaining and continuing to give them real insight and information. So let's get to it. So I mean, how long have you been servicing and working in and around the villages?
So I started in March of 2000. And,
2000, are you sure? 2000.
I had to think about that. That's a long time ago.
That is a long time ago. So I'm sure you've seen a lot of evolutions, a lot of expansions and things like that. And the villages has absolutely built its own following. And being able to take this opportunity to kind of talk about some questions. Now, the villages. There's a lot of questions about golf, fees, those types of things. What can you really quickly talk about? Are there any other amenity fees, and kind of explain like what this golf for life looks and feels like?
Sure. Well, yeah, we did get a question that asked, are there any other fees other than the amenity fees that we should know about, you the subscriber? So yeah, so I'll talk about that. We've gone over the bonds and the maintenance fees extensively, and the taxes in my tax video, and we talked about that. And then the amenity fee is the recreational activity fee, but there is a couple other fees. There's the trail fee, so that free golf for life.
Right.
That means that's part of the amenity fee in the villages. And if you want to drive your own golf cart on one of these executive golf courses, That's that's one of the 9-hole courses that they have. They have over 30 9-hole executive golf courses in the villages. And if you want to drive your own golf cart on there, then there is a trail fee. And it's $10 per person in that golf cart. So if there's 2 people in the golf cart, it's $20 to go ahead and use your golf cart on the executive course, or you can buy what's called a trail fee, and that's $150 a year for the trail fee. And they also have something called a priority membership fee, that trail fee is in that priority membership. And what that does is that gives you discounted prices to get on the championship courses, because the championship courses in the villages are pay as you play. All right, so that's not free golf. Only the executive courses are free if you want them.
So hold on, just really quick. When you say executive course, those are the par 3 courses?
Right. Well, there's some par 4s on there.
Okay.
So
But
we call them
smaller,
executive.
right? Your smaller
9-hole
kind
executive.
of 9-hole courses. Your championship courses are Nancy Lopez,
Arnold Palmer.
Arnold Palmer. Those are your 18-hole, larger par 5s, those kinds of things.
Right, and a lot of those are actually 27 holes. I think there's only 8 out of the 12 championship courses that they do have in the villages. 2 are 18 holes. The rest of them are 27 holes.
So it sounds like you can really kind of customize whatever interest level you have in golf. You can kind of customize your fees and accordingly.
Right.
Outside of your trails fees and things like that, are there any other kind of monthly fees, HOA fees? I know we talked about the bonds and so forth. What other kind of fees are out there outside of the golf?
So really there are no other fees other than that. So your bond, your maintenance around your taxes, your amenity fee comes in a monthly statement. And then if you want your priority, that's an option. If you want a priority membership, you don't have to join the priority membership. You don't even have to pay a trail fee if you don't want to. So really those are the only 3 mandatory fees that there are in the villages.
See, I wasn't even sure of that either.
Right.
So now, again, you've got the villages and golf. It's a big attraction, and some of your viewers are actually asking about other communities, specifically like Stonecrest.
Right.
Paul D. He actually asked if golf was included at Stonecrest or any of the other 55+ communities. What's your response to that?
So some of the more immediate communities around the villages would be Stonecrest. That's the closest 55+ community to the villages, and they do have a golf course there, but you have to pay a membership fee or pay as you play there as well. It just depends on how much golf you play. And the same thing with Del Webb Spruce Creek Country Club. There is a membership fee there as well, and it gives you the ability to play on their course unlimitedly, or they have different memberships that you can do there. And then you have Pembroke Fairways, which is on the south end. These other 2 communities were on the north end. Pembroke Fairways is on the south end. So those are the 3 pretty much immediate 55+ communities
Right.
around the villages.
Right, I got you. So golf, Central Florida, what is there not to like? And obviously the interest level of the villages from not just your audience and your subscribers, but basically anybody across the country are really interested in Central Florida and the villages. What are some things that somebody in Indiana interested in the villages, what are some of the things that they can do to kind of start getting information about the villages? But what if they have some place in Indiana to sell? How do they get started with the whole process?
All right, well, that's a great question. So we can pretty much help any of you get your home sold up north, and that's through our relocation program that we have here. We do have a network of agents all over the country that if you contact me, I can go ahead and get you set up, and we can get you a top-rated agent to come by your house. We'll actually get you a few, so you can have 1 or 2 to choose from to see which one you like the best.
Yeah, I think that's the real thing that we want to make sure we emphasize is we will understand specifically what your situation is, and then we will go out there and hand pick a select few that then you can interview to potentially work on your side in Indiana or wherever it is you are in the United States to get your home sold, to get you down to Central Florida.
Right.
It's not a one size fits all. We're very, very customized to your needs, your situation where you are, to get you down here quicker, faster, with the least amount of obstacles. So, so now they start their search down here.
Right.
They're excited about the villages. What are some things that they need to be aware of as a buyer moving into the villages market?
So, just to kind of piggyback on that a little bit, one of the questions we did have asked to us was, how do I sell my home up north, and then how do I buy one down here? And I can do that. I can help you with that and perform that seamlessly, because we can do what's called a simultaneous close. So what we'll do is we'll get your home on the market there wherever you are, and then we'll be looking for homes down here for you. As soon as you get a contract on your home, you let me know. We do the search. As you've seen on some of my videos, I've even sold homes right through a video where people haven't even seen the home.
Technology.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And so I'll do the walkthrough for you. I'll do the video for you. We can put the contract, we can put it all together, and we can close on both homes at the same time.
And that's another advantage of working through our network with a realtor in that market, so we can very closely communicate and stay on top of the entire process. So again, it's not stop and go, stop and go. It's all one continuous process.
Seamless. That's right.
That's interesting. So what's one thing a buyer might be surprised about when purchasing a home in the villages?
Well, hopefully there's not too many surprises because of my YouTube channel. I've tried to kind of dispel all kind of different things that you might have heard, might not have heard. I've tried to give you as much information as I can. One of the things, I guess the biggest thing is, where in the villages do I want to live?
Right.
So the villages is huge. It's about 160,000 people that live in the villages now.
And growing.
And growing.
Right.
Yeah, it's over 20 miles wide by over 15 miles wide. So you can do the math and see. So, there's different areas of the villages, and that's something that we work on with you on a one-on-one basis as to where I feel like it would be the best fit for you. So as far as surprises go, I don't know if there's too many surprises, because like I said, I've put out all the information that I can on the YouTube channel.
But what are some common questions that you get? I mean, let's assume somebody isn't a subscriber to your channel right now, because hopefully we're going to be able to use this as well on the company channel as well. And just for those people that might not be as familiar with the other topics that you've done, what is that one surprise thing? What is it?
The biggest surprise is how big the village is.
It could be overwhelming, I guess.
And that is probably one of the, if it's not the number one, it's the number two reason I made this channel. Because whenever people would come to see me, and they would be overwhelmed. That's the huge surprise to them, is how big the villages is.
Right.
So I have my maps video up there to try to help you see how big the villages is. But even with that, even when you get here, you really see how much there is to see, how much there is to do, and it could get overwhelming, and that's why I'm trying to help.
Yeah, and I think that's also where, because there is so much in the villages, not just geographically, but the different models, the different variations of the models, the location to the lifestyle, recreational centers, or the hubs as far as the squares. Really leveraging local knowledge like yours is really, really, really valuable. We talk a lot about buyers now, but what's interesting to me is when a lot of the sellers that we work with out there right now aren't necessarily selling their homes and moving out of the area. They're actually selling their homes and purchasing other homes in the villages.
Right.
if we've got a potential seller out there right now in the villages, what are some things that they need to be kind of aware of in preparation for either moving out of the area or looking at purchasing another home in the villages? Are there some special tips and thoughts around what sellers might be looking to take advantage of or be aware of?
Well, I think as far as sellers go, I think just about everybody in the villages realizes that there is the MLS, where everybody sees your listing on Zillow and Trulia and Realtor.com and all those other online websites. And then you have the villages who have their own website and their own listings.
Right.
So, so a seller has to make a decision on who he wants to list his home with. And we feel like with the exposure of Zillow and Trulia, they gain a huge advantage with that perspective, because even though the seller knows there's those different listings, either with the villages or through the MLS, the people up north, they're only looking at Zillow and Trulia, and they're not really aware that there are those other listings in the village's website.
They might not be picking up the Daily Sun locally to see what's for sale. And I also think that that's where technology really plays a big role in this. Is things like the Matterport tours, where it really gives you a 3D virtual tour of the home. Now, to me, what's really cool about that is not only is it going to give that buyer in Indiana a really good feel for the home, but the real value to the seller is they're not going to be disrupted by a showing. The buyers that we take through their home, this is probably their second or third time seeing the home. So really, the minimizing the disruption to the sellers using these certain technologies is huge as well. But my thing is, regardless of how high of demand the villages is, you still have to be competitive out there. I mean, there are listings out there for sale, and the reality is, it's not just what sellers want to sell their home for, it's what buyers are willing to pay.
Right.
And so just because there's a lot of demand, I think there's also a tendency for sellers to expect or ask too much for their home.
Correct.
Is there any advice for those sellers out there that see their neighbor's home go up for, $350,000, but the reality is it's probably worth $300,000? Any tips for those sellers out there that kind of get enamored with what's being listed versus what's actually being sold?
Right. Well, I always tell the people I go to talk to about listing their home, I tell them, look, it's either price or condition that's going to depend on your home getting sold. So if you overprice it, then I don't care. There's always a price point where you can overprice your home. Doesn't really matter how nice it is, what kind of options you have in there. There's always going to be a price point where your home is only going to command so much. And then I get some people that say, well, my neighbor sold his for, like you used, $350,000. I think mine's nicer. I've got this, that, and another thing. But your neighbor might have sold their home at the very top price in that market.
Timing's everything.
So there's just that expectation that people have when they walk into your home. But lot has a lot to do with it.
Right. Your
home site. If you're on one of the interior home sites, using the villages as an example, if you're in a designer neighborhood on an interior home site,
that's great information.
You're only going to get so much. You've just overbuilt for the neighborhood, or you've overimproved for the neighborhood, and you just can't get your money out of it. So that's where my experience comes in, and that's why I help people kind of understand and realize, look, there's no other home that's sold over this price. Doesn't matter how nice it is, what's in it. There is, you can overbuild for the neighborhood, so we have to keep that in mind.
Right. Trust me, I think nobody outside of that home seller would love to sell their home for the most money possible outside of us, right?
Right, exactly, yeah.
But, I mean, that's the thing. People just got to realize you're not hiring us to list your home. You're hiring us to sell your home.
Right.
And I think that's where, seeing what stuff is active on the market, and then that being people's perception of the value of their home versus what's sold. So educating sellers sometimes on really kind of that whole process. Are there any tips that you would give sellers out there right now in today's market specifically?
Well, I kind of wanted to go off of that a little bit. There's different realtors out there, okay? There's some realtors that's what they'll do. They'll come along, they'll talk to you, they'll say how much you want to list your home for, they'll put it on the market, and then they'll put it in the MLS, and then they just hope and pray that it sells. You really want an experienced agent who knows the market, who will explain to you why your home is worth what it is, and make suggestions to you
Right.
of what you can do to your home to make it more marketable, to bring more value to
Right.
it, and more exposure. So you have to be very aware of these agents that are out there that are just order takers.
Yeah, you see this all the time, especially in today's market, where, especially in the villages, it's such a popular space, and a lot of people think it's like shooting fish in a barrel out there,
Right.
but it is such a complex market, and really having somebody that knows the intricacies of the markets, the market fluctuations, the geographical impact of different things. I see it all the time. Brokers and agents coming in from out of the market, expecting to list and sell property, and their MO is basically going in and asking, instead of being the professional and recommending a price, they go in asking the seller, hey, what do you want to sell your home for?
Right.
And then they get it listed, and then over that 6-month period, they work on getting it reduced
Right.
instead of pricing it right from the beginning and then selling it within a reasonable amount of time. So
That's what I call buying the listing.
Right.
They'll tell you your home is worth more than it is, hoping that when they know another realtor's coming in there, they're telling you they can get you more money for your home with that in mind.
brother, you're preaching the choir, because, and not just that, to me, our real value comes in after the home goes under contract, because that's when you really need that local expertise with not just appraisals, but working with local vendors on any kind of repairs that might need to be made, and any title or issues with getting it actually closed. I think that's where the real heavy lifting comes in this market. And if you don't have local knowledge like you do and our company does, it's going to end up costing you more money in the long run.
Right, it'll definitely hurt you.
Yeah. So so the Villages is enormous. I was born and raised here, and just to see how the Villages has grown is mind-boggling. So you've been in the Villages forever, it seems like. Where and what are they doing now? Where are they growing? And what does that look like?
Okay, so right now, as many of you will know, they have a brand new area. It's non-contiguous with the rest of the villages. It's separated off.
Now, does that mean it doesn't have golf cart access, or?
Not at this time.
Okay.
They are trying to get that golf cart access, because they know that's a big thing for people, is they want to be able to get anywhere in the villages by golf cart. So they're working very actively to try to get that golf cart access. However, what I show a lot of people is right now where that development is, it's probably a good 25 to 30 minutes by golf cart, even if there was a path to
Right.
get to Brownwood, which is where everybody's trying to get to, because they don't have a town
Right.
square that accesses from the Finney, McClure, Linden, all those areas over there. There is no golf cart access. And to be quite honest, if you live out in that area, you're probably going to want to jump in your car anyways, because
Faster.
it is such
Right.
a long ride, even when they do finally get that connected over there.
Right. Do you think that there's any plans? I know that they haven't really necessarily announced anything, but what are your thoughts about them possibly building another lifestyle hub anywhere around there? Is there any thoughts about that? I mean, what's your opinion on that?
Well, I was talking with some people I was touring on Monday, actually, and we were going around looking for some homes for them. They were homeless, and I said, you know, we were in the LakeSumter Landing area, and I said, ironically enough, and I was working for the villages at that time, when I was selling new homes.
The developer. You're working for the developer.
For the developer,
Right.
Properties of the Villages.
Right.
And Lake Sumter Landing was built before any homes were even built around it. All the recreation centers were already built before any of the homes. Everything, all the infrastructure was put in before any homes. So it was easy for me working for Properties of the Villages when I did work for them, to go around and you know, and say, hey, here's Lake Sumter Landing, here's your rec center, here's a rec center. In the new area, I don't see that, you know.
Right.
So none of and even commercial, even the stores were all in place, so everybody had easy access.
Kind of a
to
turnkey, kind of boom.
Exactly.
And now, like these outlying areas like Finney, it's kind of uncertain, really, if those lifestyle communities or lifestyle pieces will be added down the line in the future. It's a lot more than just golf cart access.
Right.
I mean, this is a lifestyle community, and you know, it's the cliche, you're not buying a home, you're buying a lifestyle.
Exactly.
And I guess that's a big thing that a lot of viewers, a lot of subscribers need to understand is, you know, it's not just another home in the villages. You really need to understand the dynamics of where the home is, the different recreational centers, the different golf courses, the different squares, really do make a difference.
Yeah.
And no, so I mean, how do you communicate that? How do you share that information with your viewers?
Well, what I've tried to do is I've tried to explain to my viewers where Marion County, in my opinion, is a wonderful community. It's developed, it's mature, very low bonds, and if you kind of, you know, look at where Marion County is in relation to where Finney is, yeah, there's about the same distance to the squares, all right, but you still have Mulberry Rec Center, which is where, and you also have Mulberry Shopping Center,
Right.
which has all the infrastructure in there.
Your
for you.
shopping, your grocery stores,
Right.
And your recreational centers.
You have Nancy Lopez Country Club. There is no
It's all-
country club
Right.
in the Finney area right now.
So what is so somebody not familiar with those two areas, is there a material price point difference?
There's a huge price point
Right.
difference, you know. And I mean, I want to go back to the bond just for a second. A bond in the Marion County area at the most is $4,000.
Which is on the north end, where you said Mulberry Grove,
Right.
those areas.
Over in the Finney area, the Marsh Bend area, where those brand new areas are, there are over $30,000 for a bond over there. So that's added to your taxes. That really increases your taxes in that area just with that bond alone. But the maturity, there's no construction you have to deal
Right.
with. I mean, there's a lot of advantages. And like you asked me about the price point of homes, really, that's the best value. If you're looking for the best value for a home in the villages, the Marion County area, that is the best value to me in the
Right.
entire villages.
Yeah, I mean, you're buying it for the lifestyle and everything that the villages is. As long as you've got a good, sound, sturdy home with a good roof, and that's really what, to me, that's really what you're looking for.
Right.
And there's a substantial trade-off in the more established areas of the villages versus what you're buying in new construction. So that's interesting stuff. And I think it's a lot of people just don't quite understand really the dynamics. And again, I think that a lot of the interest and the push for going south is a lot attributable to the developer. You know, obviously the developer is really trying to market and sell their new construction, which is creating a lot of attention. But really, if you invest the services of a realtor professional like Ira, who has the ins and outs of the villages entirely, to really point out where that value is.
Right.
Where you can get the great lifestyle, the amenities that you're relocating for, but at a price point that is really, really beneficial to them as a buyer. No, that's good stuff. So the outlying areas outside the villages, these communities like Del Webb, Spruce Creek, all these, they have golf as well?
Yeah, I see also a lot of people from the villages, or even there's a lot of people in the villages that never even expected the villages to get to be the size that it is. And so now communities like on Top of the World in Ocala,
Right.
Del Webb Stone Creek in Ocala, Trilogy in Ocala, those communities are starting to take over because they have wonderful amenities over there, brand new golf courses over there. You can build your own homes over there as well. And so a lot of people are moving out of the villages into those communities because they're looking for more of a smaller, quaint community that a lot of them kind of envision the villages to be.
Right, and I think what's unique about that is that you're still close enough in proximity to really benefit from the amenities like shopping and
Sure.
restaurants and all these different things
Entertainment.
that you and I benefit from. So I think that's a very, very, very unique value add that a lot of people don't understand, is that, you know, even these communities, you still have really close access to all those features
More
that,
so.
that a village's resident actually
Yeah,
has.
more so. I mean, a lot of people go to Ocala for the malls, for the shopping, you know. So if you bought a home in those areas, you're already there.
Right. So I love the YouTube channel. I love the subscribers, and I would love to have something like this on a much regular basis, and maybe even try to stream and live.
Yeah.
Have people call in or text questions that we can answer very live. But is there one question that you've gotten from your subscribers and followers on a very consistent basis that you might want to share with people today?
I don't know if there's just one question.
I am amazed at the following. I mean, for those that aren't subscribers to your channel now and viewing this, what is your website and your YouTube channel?
So my website is www.homesaroundthevillages.com. So that is a website that we have here at ERA Grizzard. And I've tried to design that website to be as user-friendly as possible, because most of the questions are, well, I mean, I'm looking for a home. I want one, that's not backed up to another home with privacy. I want one with a golf cart garage. So I've tried to put these buttons on my website where you as the buyer can just push a button and go right to these homes.
Right. And really, it's a very customized approach to finding that perfect home for that buyer.
I tried, yeah. I
Right.
tried to make it that way.
Right. No, I think I love the idea, and I love the fact that we can help them from start to finish regardless of where they are.
That's right.
So is there anything else you want to share with these folks before we wrap this up?
Well, I just want you to know that, like Gus said, we would like to go ahead and continue this. This is kind of our pilot show here, and we'd like to do maybe next time a live stream and have you all call in. So kind of give us your feedback on that.
Right.
What would you think about a live stream? Do you have any suggestions about a certain time in the day that might work better for
Or
you?
content? Is there something that you want more information on? And I would even see this expanding into bringing in some other guests that can really give you specific information about a topic that they want. You know,
Sure.
somebody from the village, the municipality, golf professional. There's just so many things out there in the villages, the clubs, the golf. But the reality is that we need your feedback as to what you want more information about. But I just can't thank you enough, Ira. I'm blown away. You know, I'm a huge fan. You're not one of our top agents by accident. You take great care of your customers, and you're constantly innovating.
Yes.
And that's what's important in today's market, is not change just because of change, but really staying in tune with your customers' needs and how they want to communicate and the information that they want to be communicated with. So again, I can't thank you enough for being here today, and
Okay.
I look forward to the next one.
All right, sounds good. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again in our next video.